Hi everyone. Okay, we are in this week topic for the database system concepts and architecture. Okay, so with this we'll be discussing those concepts and how those architecture behind the database. Okay, so with this we have our learning of outcomes, okay, under this. So at the end of the session, so the students should be able to discuss concepts of schemas and instances and then illustrate DBMS architecture and explain data independence and then also describe the languages and interfaces provided by the database or DBMS. Okay, so we'll be discussing all about the DBMS architecture, the DBMS three-level architecture, data abstraction, then also instances and schemas under this week topic. So when we say DBMS architecture, so database management systems architecture will help us understand the concepts of database system and the relation among them. So the architecture of DBMS depends on the computer concept on and then the system on which it runs. So for example, in a client server DBMS architecture, the database systems at server machine can run several requests made by client machine. Okay, so we will understand this communication with the help of the diagrams. So under this, so we have here an example or the diagram. So we have the two-tier architecture and then three-tier architecture. So for the first one, so there are three types of uh, database management system architecture. We have the single tier architecture. So in this type of architecture, so we will be dealing, okay, so we'll be dealing with the database is readily available on the client machine. So any request made by client doesn't require a network connection to perform the action on the database. For example, let's say you want to fetch the records of employee from the database and the database is available on your computer system. So the request to fetch the employee details will be done by your computer and the records will be fetched from the database by your computer as well. So this type of system is generally referred as local database system. Let's say for example, meron tayong system. Okay? Let's say for example, so local database system. So naka-install dun sa desktop or laptop. Let's say for example, enrollment system. Yung enrollment system na yon is naka-install lang doon sa computer na yon. Okay? Let's say you want to enroll, okay, for the semester. So mag-enroll ka, so pupunta ka lang doon sa enrollment officer na yon. Again, yung system ng enrollment, so naka-install po doon sa computer lang na yon. So, pag may enrollment system, may database po yan nakasama. So, yung database na yon, naka-install lang doon sa local system. Doon sa computer lang na yon. Okay? So, meaning, pag nag-save ka ng information, nag-retrieve ka ng information doon lang sa computer na yon. Okay, nag-enroll ka. So, nag-enroll yung students. Okay, upon enrollment, so doon sa computer na yon, naka-enroll ka. Okay, na-retrieve yung information mo, na-retrieve yung data mo. So, pagka-enter ng student number, and then, so enlist yung mga subjects mo. Then, after that, okay, so proceed with the payment. Okay, ang problem dito, pag single tier architecture, ang problem nito, hindi siya naka-network database. Okay, let's say for example, magbabayad ka. Okay, dala mo yung temporary certificate of registration mo. Okay, or the COR. So, temporary. So, magbabayad ka. Pag nagbayad ka ngayon sa accounting or sa cashier, so pag in-enter yung student number mo, hindi mag-a-appear yung information mo na kung ano yung na-enlist na subject. So, because hindi naka-network yung database, hindi naka-network yung system. Yun yung problem with or the single tier architecture. Yun yung problem nila pag hindi naka-network. So, basically, kung saan lang naka-install yung system, doon lang din naka-retrieve, doon lang din naka-save yung data mo. So, pag lumipat ka ngayon ng ibang computer, hindi accessible yung file mo, yung nakasave doon na file mo, hindi accessible from the other computer. So, that's the problem of single-tier architecture. So, ibig sabihin, pag gumawa ng system, so make sure na hindi naka-network or hindi need yung information mo to other computer, to other system. So, yun po yung purpose ng single-tier architecture. Doon lang po. So, standalone, andoon lang. So, doon lang po yung information mo. When you retrieve something, when you save something, doon lang po sa computer na yon. Okay? So, may mga nagde-develop pa rin for, for standalone PC lang siya. So, hindi siya naka-network. Okay? Yun po yung single-tier architecture. And two-tier architecture, okay? So the database system is present at the server machine. So ibig sabihin, naka-network, may server. Yung information natin, yung data natin, naka-save sa server. Okay? And then, the database application is also present at the client machine. So, ibig sabihin, example natin again, so yung enrollment system, so merong server, merong client, okay? So, those enrollment official or officer, so sila po yung client. So, ina-access natin yung database, yung system nyo from the server. Okay, so these two machines are connected with each other through a reliable network as shown in the above diagram. So ito po. So we have the client machine, we have the server. Ayan po. So ina-access natin. Okay, naka-install yung enrollment system. Okay, so whenever client machine makes a request to access the database present at server using a query language like SQL, okay, MSQL, server, SQL Server, the server platform, request on the database and returns the result back to the client. Okay, so the application connection interface such as JDBC, ODBC, or are used for the interaction between the server and client. Okay, and then so we have the three-tier architecture. So another layer is present between the client machine and server machine. So in this architecture, the client application doesn't communicate directly with the database systems present at the server machine. So rather, the client application communicates with server application and the server application internally communicates with the database system present at the server, just like in this case. So we have an example again, client machine and then server machine. Okay, so we have the server DBMS application, then we have the database system. So okay, so in the DBMS three-level architecture, so we have the external level. So it is also called view level. So view. So the reason this level is called view So it's because several of users can view their desired data from this level, which is internally fetched from database with the help of conceptual and internal level mapping. So the user doesn't need to know the database schema details such as the data structure, table definition, then etc. Okay, user is only concerned about the data with which it was returned back to the view level after it has been fetched from the database. So, ibig sabihin, tayo, nagre-retrieve lang tayo ng data. Let's say, for example, in-enter natin yung student number natin. So, nire-retrieve niya yan from the server. Okay? Then, tayo, okay, magdi-display na yung information ng student, makikita na namin. Then, afterwards, yun. So, external level for viewing. Again, external level is the top level of the three-level DBMS architecture. Then, the conceptual level, so it is also called a logical level. So, the whole design of the database such as relationship among data, schema of data, etc. are described in this level. So database constraints and security are also implemented in this level of architecture. So this level is maintained by the database administrator or the DBA. So ibig sabihin, lahat ng schemas, entities, okay, relationship from those database concern, so andito po kay conceptual. Then, on internal level, so this level is also known as physical level. So, this level describes how the data is actually stored in the storage database or devices. So, this level is also responsible for allocating space to the data. So, this is the lowest level of the architecture. So, ibig sabihin, kung saan ko i-store okay, yung mga data ko, saan ko ba ilalagay para pag nag-retrieve, nag-store, okay? So, doon sa space na yon naka-allot for those data or those transaction. Okay? Pag marami ka ng transaction, so ibig sabihin yung size, okay, yung space, so dumadami yan, di ba? Okay? And then, so next, so we have the data abstraction. Okay, so abstraction is one of the main features of database systems. So hiding irrelevant details from user. Okay, so ibig sabihin nakatago yung details, yung pinaka-detail nung schema, nung diagram, nung conceptual, so sa user. Okay? So, view of the data users helps in easy and efficient user database interaction. Okay? Then, so in slide 5, we discussed the three level of DBMS architecture. So the top level of that architecture is view level. Again, the view level provides the view of data, viewing of data, retrieving of data to the users and hides the irrelevant details such as data relationship, database schema, constraints, so security, etc. from the user. So, okay, ito po yun. So, we have the view level. Okay? So, to fully understand the view of data, you must have a basic knowledge of data abstraction and instance schema. Okay? Then, database systems are made up of complex data structures, okay, to ease the user interaction with the database. So, the developers hide internal irrelevant details from the users. Okay, so this process of hiding irrelevant details from users is called data abstraction. Okay, so again, we have the three levels of abstraction. So in physical level, so this is the lowest level of data abstraction. So it describes how data is actually, again, stored in database. So you can get the complex data structure details at this level. Okay, so on physical. So again, So in physical level, so it is concerned with the storing of data, okay, on the database. Then logical level, so this is the middle level of three-level data abstraction architecture. So it describes what data is stored in the database. So ano nga ba yung i-store natin? Let's say for example, in enrollment system. So first, we need to have a data from the student. So pag in-enter natin yung student number, so i-retrieve niya yung mga data. So from the students a database, ayan pa, students database, student table. Okay? So enrollment system database, we have the student information. Okay? So yun po logical level. So bakit kailangan natin ng student information again? So when we enter the student number of the student, so mag-a-appear na yung information. And then sunod, yung subject. Okay, subject table. Subject, andun po yung subject code, yung subject description, kung ilang units siya. Okay? And then, yung course. Okay? Course ng students. Okay? So, we need to have the course table. So, andito po yung course code, course description. Okay? And then also, yung schedule. So, in schedule, we have the schedule code, and then yung room, time, so etc. And then, so meron din table for the professor. Okay? So once na enroll tayo, so makikita na natin kung sino yung mga professor natin. Okay? Kasama rin po yun sa enrollment system. Kasi nakatag na kung sino yung mga professor natin on that certain subject. Okay? So magkakaroon tayo ng professor table. In professor table, andito yung ID na professor, and then yung name, okay, kung saan department siya, and so on. Okay? So those are included in the logical level. Okay? So medyo mahirap po yung logical level. So meaning you need to think, okay, those table involved in that certain database. Ayun po yung mahirap po doon. Okay? So anyway, ituturo ko naman po 'yon. Then again, in view level, so highest level of data abstraction. So this level describes the user interaction with the database. So more on retrieving, storing. Okay? And then, so next, so schema. So schema, so definition of schema, so design of a database is called the schema. So schema is of three types. So again, we have the physical, logical, and then view schema. Okay? Then, for example, in the following diagram, so we have a schema. Okay? So we have here the schema that shows the relationship between three tables. We have the course, student, and section. And then the diagram only shows the design of the database. So it doesn't show the data present in those tables. Okay, so schema is only a structural view or design of a database as shown in the diagram. Okay, so again, we have the course, student, okay, section. Okay, so under this course, we have the course ID. Okay, we have the course name and then the department. So yun po connected po dito. Connected po siya doon. Course ID. Okay, kasi yung table ng student, merong student ID. Again, sabi ko nga, pag in-enter natin yung student ID, mag-a-appear na information niya. So, nakakonect po yung course ID, okay, doon sa student. Ayan po. So, kinukuha yung course ID. Ayan po. Ayan po yung relationship nila. Okay? So, para pag in-enter natin yung student number, so again, mag-a-appear kung saan or kung anong course siya. Okay? And then, on section, we have the student ID, and then yung section ID, course ID. So again, ito po, naka-relationship. Okay? Connected po doon. And then the student, ayan po. So yun po So may relationship. Again, pag in-enter natin yung section na yon, so sino-sino yung mga student na naka-enroll. So lalabas yung information ng student. And then kung anong course. Ayun po. Let's say for example, in minor subject. Okay? So pag in-enter natin ito, let's say for example, NSTP1. In-enter natin. And then anong section? So let's say for example, NSTP1 001. Pag in-enter natin yon, lalabas yung mga students na naka-enroll po doon. So under that, may mga different courses. Let's say for example, pag mga irregular students, so siyempre kung saan available na or kung saan maganda ang schedule, so doon po sila napupunta. Ngayon, makikita nyo doon sa subject section na yon na itong mga student na to, so magkakaiba ang course. So, yun po. So, naka-enroll sila doon. So, mga ganong concern. Okay? So, in this, okay, so the design of the database at physical level is called, again, physical schema. How the data stored in blocks of storage is described at this level. Okay? So, in coming weeks of discussion, so we will expand this para mas maintindihan nyo po yung schema, how we develop that, how we will create those. Okay, so design of database at logical level is called, again, logical schema. So programmers and database administrators work at this level. So at this level, data can be described as certain types of data records gets stored in data structures. However, the internal details such as implementation of data structure is hidden at this level. So, available at physical level. Ayan po. Kaya nga, before you develop or before you create the database, so, you need to plan first. Okay? So, magpaplano ka muna. Ano-ano yung mga detailed na table. Okay? Kagaya nito. So, ito po, table, course table, student table, and then section table. So, yun po. You need to identify first those table involved in your database. And then, each table, okay, andun po yung schema natin. So, you need to identify those involved in that certain table. Kagaya nito, course. Okay, necessary to have the ID. Okay, for each table, it is necessary to have each ID. Ayan po. Okay? So, necessary po yan na magkaroon ng ID. Okay? So, yun po So, we need to keep an eye on this one. Okay? Then, so next, so we have this instances, okay? The data stored in database at a particular moment of time is called instance of database. Okay? So database schema defines the variables, declarations, and tables that belong to a particular database. So the value of these variables at a moment of time is called the instance of that database. Let's say, for example, let's say we have a single table student in the database. So today the table has 100 records. Let's say, for example, okay, and so today the instance of the database has 100 records. So let's say we are going to add another 100 records in this table by tomorrow, so that instance of database tomorrow will have 200 records in table. So in short, at a particular moment, the data stored in database is called the instance that changes over time when we add or delete data from this database. Ayan po ah. So, again, siyempre, pag nadadagdagan po yung data natin, so yung nagbabago yung instance, and then pag nagdi-delete tayo, so nagbabago rin po yung instances. Okay? So again, data stored in database at a particular moment of time. So, ibig sabihin, real time po yon na nag-store, nagdi-delete ng data. So, yung deleting of data, so depende po yon. Okay? Pero yung storing of data, so tuloy-tuloy po yon pag may mga transactions involved. Okay? Then, so next, so on this next part, we will be discussing the data models, data independence, and then DBMS languages. Okay? So in data models, so is the modeling of the data description, data semantics, and consistency constraints of the data. So it provides the conceptual tools for describing the design of a database at each level of data abstraction. So therefore, there are following 4 data models used for understanding the structure of the database. Okay? So the first one, okay, we have here the relational data model. Okay, so this type of model designs the data in the form of rows and columns within a table. So thus, a relational model uses tables for representing data and in-between relationships. Okay, so tables are so-called relations. So this model was initially described by Edgar F. Codd in 1969. Okay, try to imagine. Huh? So yung relational data model is the widely used model which is primarily used by commercial data processing application. Then, so we have the second one, semi-structured data model. Okay, so this type of data model is different from the other 3 data models. So let's explain. So this data model allows the data specifications of places where the individual data items of the same type may have different attribute sets. Okay, so the extensible markup language, also known as XML, is widely used for representing the semi-structured data. So although XML was initially designed for including the markup information to the next document, so it gains importance because of its application in the exchange of the data. Then, next is entity relationship data model. Okay, so an ER model is the logical representation of data as objects and relationships among them. So these objects are known as entities. And relationship is an association among these entities. So this model was designed by Peter Chen and published in 1976 papers. Okay, try to imagine ha. So before, okay, or matagal na palang pinag-aaralan yung data model or yung relationship. Okay, so it was widely used in the database designing a set of attributes describe the entities. For example, student name, student ID. So describes the student entity. Okay, let's say for example, di ba may schema tayo kanina? So kagaya nito. So meron tayong student table. So under this, meron tayong entity. Okay, yung entity, ito po yung laman nung table na yon. Let's say for example, we have the student ID, student name, yan, course ID. On course table, meron tayong entity, course ID, course name, and then department, and then so on. So yung entity, yun po yung laman. Okay? So yun po ha. So a set of the same type of entities is known as an entity set. And the set of the same type of relationship is known as relationship set. Then the last one, we have the object. Okay, object-based data model. Okay, so an extension of the ER model with notions of functions, encapsulation, and object entity as well. So this model supports a rich type system that includes structured and collection types. Thus, in 1980s, various database systems following the object-oriented approach were developed. So here, the objects are nothing but the data carrying its properties. Okay, so that's all for the data models. Okay, let's proceed. So we have here the data independence. Okay, so a database system normally contains a lot of data in addition to users' data. For example, so it stores data about data known as metadata. So to locate and retrieve data easily, so it is rather difficult to modify or update a set of data metadata once it is stored in the database. So but as a DBMS expands, so it needs to change over time to satisfy the requirements of the users. So if the entire data is independent, so it would become a tedious, okay, and highly complex job. So metadata itself follows a layered architecture so that when we change data at one layer, okay, so it does not affect the data at another level. Okay? So this data is independent but map to each other. Okay, naka-relate po sa kanila or may relationship. Kagaya niyan, pag nag-modify ka, nag-add ka ng data, nag-store ka, nag-delete ka, so it will not affect the other data. Okay? So we have the two types under this. Okay, so logical data is data about database. So it is or that is, it stores information about how data is managed inside, for example, a table, a relation is stored in the database and all its constraints applied on that relation. Okay? So logical data independence is a kind of mechanism so which liberalize or naka-level, okay, naka-level itself from actual data stored on disk. Okay, so if we do some changes on table format, it should not change the data residing in the disk. Okay, so ibig sabihin, so pag binago natin yung format ng table, so yung mga naka-store na data doon sa database na yon, so it will not affect, okay, the changes made by the table format. Okay? On physical data independence, so all the schemas are logical and the actual data is stored in bit format on the disk. So physical data independence is the power to change the physical data without impacting the schema or logical data. For example, in case we want to change or upgrade the storage system itself, suppose we want to replace hard disk with SSD, so it should not have any impact on the logical data or schemas. Okay? Then, so DBMS languages. Okay? So on DBMS languages, so again, database has appropriate languages and interfaces to express database queries and updates. So database languages can be used to read, store, and update the data in the database. So there are four types of database language. Okay, so we have the DDL, DCL, DML, and then the TCL. So under DDL, so we have, again, DDL stands for Data Definition Language. So it is used to define a database structure or pattern. So it is used to create schema, tables, indexes, constraints, etc. So in the database. So using the DDL statement, so you can create the skeleton of the database. So data definition language is used to store, okay, the information of metadata like the number of tables and schemas, their names, indexes, columns in each table, constraints, okay? So we have some tasks that come under DDL. So in create, okay? So create, so syntax po ito create, alter, at saka drop. So ayan po syntax po yan na ginagamit. So create, it is used to create objects in the database. Okay? So alter, it is used to alter the structure of the database, baguhin, modify. So drop, it is used to delete objects from the database. Ayan po yung example nung under the DDL. Okay, and then also truncate. So it is used to remove all records from a table. Truncate So used to remove all records from a table. Rename. So it is used to rename an object. Comment. Maglalagay ka ng comment on the data dictionary. Okay? Then, so we have the DML. So it stands for Data Manipulation Language. So it is used for accessing and manipulating data in a database. So it handles user requests. So here are some tasks that come under the DML. Okay? So select, so it is used to retrieve data from a database. Then insert. So again, ano rin po ito yung syntax na ginagamit. Okay? So select, so it is used to retrieve data from a database. Insert, it is used to insert o mag-add ka. Okay, add data. So, ibig sabihin, insert yon. Then, update. So, mag-modify ka. I-retrieve mo yung existing data and then i-update mo. Delete. So, it is used to delete all records from a table. Then, next is, we have the DCL or Data Control Language. So, it is used to retrieve the stored or saved data. Okay, the DCL execution is transactional, so it also has rollback parameters. But in Oracle database, the execution of data control language does not have the feature of rolling back. Okay, so we have some tasks that come under DCL. Okay, so we have the grant. So it is used to give user access privilege to a database, then revoke. So it is used to take back permissions from the user. Okay? So okay, there are some operations which have the authorization of revoke. Let's say, for example, connect, insert, usage, execute, delete, update, and select. Okay? So those are, again, some operations under DCL that you can also explore and then use. Okay? So that's it. So that's the end of the discussion for this week. Okay? So hope you have learned something from this discussion. So I hope you can manage to visualize those schemas, okay, on involved in each table, and then those entity that are in the table. Okay, so thank you for listening.